Greetings, pilot. I am Dazlarus, and I lead Weeb Squadron with the help of my personal AI assistant, Ensign Carl. I stream almost every day over on Twitch, and we play a lot of Star Citizen. I decided recently to try playing the game a bit as if I was a brand new player, with only the premium starter ship from Origin Jumpworks, the 135C. My intention with this new stream content was to show new players how you don't need to buy more than a starter ship to have fun with Star Citizen. And I feel that I was mostly successful in doing this in my new player perspective streams. However, I have many player experience issues that I felt were equally important for all current and prospective backers of Star Citizen to hear about, with the hope that this feedback will be useful to Cloud Imperium Games, the developers of Star Citizen. If anything in this intro confuses you, I suggest you take a look at the first video in the series where I go over many concepts and terms natural to people who follow Star Citizen closely, but are foreign to casual backers of Star Citizen and the wider gamer audience who may be interested in picking up Star Citizen. If you are interested in picking up Star Citizen, please use the link in the video description below this video when creating your account. You will receive 5,000 extra UEC, the in-game currency of Star Citizen. Before I get into what happened in this third session, I need to talk about why there is such an immense shift between this episode and the last. In the previous episodes, I was using the recommended AMD Radeon driver for my GPU. 2 days before recording this episode, I tried installing the optional or beta driver, since it had many fixes for another game I have been playing off-stream, Godfall. I am so glad that I tried out this newer driver, because it is the reason that I only had a single game client crash in the 5 hours that I streamed Star Citizen. When I first got this GPU about 7 months ago, I tried both types of drivers, and found the beta driver horribly unstable in many games, including Star Citizen. This was my first AMD GPU, so I wasn't sure what to expect for driver stability. On the Nvidia side, both stable and beta drivers were always very stable. It looks like in the future I will have to keep on top of which AMD driver I am using, considering how much of a change I experienced in Star Citizen switching from one driver branch to the other. I started off this stream with a goof. I forgot to have Ensign Carl reset my crash counter, so on the way to the first mission, the counter information was incorrectly showing 1 crash. Fortunately, here on YouTube, I can fix that sort of thing with video editing technomancy. After getting out of bed and walking down to the large window near the ship retrieval consoles to find out where I was waking up, since the interiors of all the space stations have the same stylings, I decided to grab an Evict Illegal Occupants mission, since I wanted to show how to do these lucrative missions when solo and without access to any ships capable of carrying a ground vehicle. My approach prior to 3.11's ground turret durability buff was to destroy the turrets defending the outpost with the oversized guns on my Vanguard Warden. Since this is no longer a viable option, I instead tend to put a Cyclone TR in the back of my Cutlass Black and assault the turrets via the ground, since these ground turrets only fire upon ships. Neither of these options would be available to a new player, so I devised a new plan to use the agility and small size of the starter ships to quickly get in behind natural cover such as hills, large rocks, or in the case of Hurston bunkers, large pieces of debris. Unfortunately, this approach requires a decent bit of extra walking. The bunker clearing mission I chose tasked me to go to Calliope, the mist-covered moon of Microtech. Ensign Carl, would you mind highlighting the dangers of Calliope?
Certainly. Calliope, Stanton 4A, is the middle-sized, oceanless moon of Microtech. Extreme highs and lows characterize its icy terrain. Low clouds and ground fog make a difficult terrain to traverse. Beware of looming shapes in the distance. Mountains jut out of the ground without warning and require an expert pilot to navigate.
Thank you, Carl.
For the glory of Weeb Squadron.
So as you can see, this mission was going to be one of the harder ones for new players to do, if only because of the terrain. As I broke through the cloud layer, I tried to stay well above the mountain lines until my dashboard lit up with the warning light that I had been locked onto. Then I dove behind the mountains as laser fire lit up the fog. I had to be incredibly careful because the dual size 4 Hurston Dynamics attrition repeaters on the 4 ground turrets defending the location would cut through my ship very quickly if I didn't evade them. I weaved between the mountains, sure to speed up when the cover of the peaks left any gaps between me and the outpost. I flew low as I got closer. I noticed that the outposts and all the turrets defending it were located in a deep crater. This was very good news for me, since I could land anywhere on the top side of the crater's ridge and be safe from the laser fire. I landed on a nice open field and walked over to the lip of the crater to observe my descent options and plan my return path to the ship. The crater was too steep to climb back up on the side that I had parked on, but it looked like there was a path about a third of the way across the crater. It looked like if I was careful, I could get down where I was standing, so I used the mouse wheel to walk at the slowest speed that I could and carefully made my way into the crater. I then walked across the frozen landscape to the bunker and took the elevator down. Unfortunately, the bunker was empty. My mission had not updated when I entered the bunker, and thus the NPCs that I was tasked to eliminate had not spawned in. I abandoned the mission and made my way back to the ship. The trip back was more treacherous because I had to walk along narrow ridges in a high wind environment. The storm that had rolled in while I was in the bunker had halved my survival time compared to the hike down to the crater. On my way in, I had 40 minutes on the clock, while on the way out, I only had 20. I was wearing medium combat armor with heavy combat leg armor. I was in a good outfit for the mission I was trying to do. I could have used all heavy armor and had a better survival rating against the temperatures of Calliope, but I would have not had the agility afforded to me by a medium armor when fighting in the bunker. Using an environmental suit would have been a death sentence in an FPS combat situation, but I wouldn't have had anything to worry about in this daytime storm on Calliope. A nighttime storm on Calliope, on the other hand, would have been a death sentence in either case, and I would have likely needed to wait in the bunker until the storm had passed. I was able to return to my ship with plenty of time to spare and leave the moon, after dodging some more laser fire from the ground turrets, that is. Once I got out of harm's way, I opened up my Mobi-Glass and took another Evict Illegal Occupants mission, this time on Microtech. This bunker was located on a mostly open obsidian rock field. I found a slight rise to hide behind, 1,500 meters from the bunker, narrowly avoiding laser fire as I settled into my landing spot. I had a nice long walk to the bunker, weaving my way between the obsidian boulders. This time, when I descended the elevator into the belly of the bunker, I was greeted with NPCs to fight with. I quickly dispatched the first 2 illegal occupants and tactically cleared the upper floor of the bunker. As I approached the stairs, I was rushed by the remaining baddies. I ducked behind some cover to reload and chased down the guys who had run up the opposite side of the room. Fortunately for me, the NPCs were reasonably unresponsive, so I was able to make a few errors and the enemies did not discharge a single round. I then made my way back to my ship, admiring the beauty of the volcanic rock field along the way. The next mission I decided to do was a legal delivery mission. This mission required me to take 3 packages from an outpost on Microtech to 3 locations in the Microtech planetary system. Picking up the packages was relatively uneventful, as was dropping off all the packages. The first package needed to be delivered to a rooftop at New Babbage. As I have said in the previous video, I love going to these locations because of what these locations could offer in the future. Maybe these rooftops are how you would enter an apartment that you rented in the city, or the location of a mission giver, or maybe you need to help local authorities clear out an outlaw den. These locations have a ton of potential, and I can't wait to see them get more utilized in the future. I then needed to head to Calliope and then Clio to drop off the other 2 packages. The next mission I chose was an illegal delivery mission. I headed first over to Bud's Growery on Euterpe, one of the few shady locations in Star Citizen that you can quantum jump to. Microtech has a much looser enforcement of drug laws, with most drugs that are illegal throughout the rest of the Stanton system actually being allowed in Microtech's jurisdiction. When I landed at Bud's, I made an error. On approach, at around 150 meters from the outpost, I lowered my landing gear so that I would be ready to land. However, when I hovered above my landing location, I toggled the landing gear again. When I turned off my engines and got out of the seat, the ship sounded like it was vibrating against the ground. When I opened the main door, I saw that the ship was getting blown around quite forcibly in the wind. I was able to quickly hop back into the pilot seat and land the ship properly, with very little damage to my ship, despite the slide it had taken. Another incident with the wind occurred As I was exiting Bud's after picking up the package, I was blown off of my feet, and the box was tossed across the landscape. This had never happened before, because I had never been in a windstorm this vicious in this patch. One of the primary features of 3.11 was a force feedback system that causes you to get affected by the environment. The examples I had seen of this before included getting knocked over by grenades and shotgun blasts that don't kill you, as well as by swaying about while standing in a ship when the pilot is making evasive maneuvers. The rest of the mission went off without a hitch, and culminated in delivering a package of drugs to Port Tressler. I have never delivered a package of drugs to a space station before, and figuring out what deck I needed to be on was a bit of trial and error. The mission objective text should probably say where to go inside of a complex location like this, since you can't just walk from the landing pad to the administration center, where I ultimately needed to drop off the drugs. Just having an objective marker that says to drop off the drugs doesn't help a new player find out where to drop the drugs off at when the objective is hidden behind 2 different elevators. The successful completion of these missions had added a nice bump to my bank account, and I was within reach of my goal that I had set in the previous stream to outfit the 135C for combat. I then tried to do a cleanup mission, but for whatever reason, even though I was in the Microtech planetary system, the contracts app in the Mobiglass tried to send me to Hurston and ArcCorp for these very small payout missions. I can expect to go to a distant location if a mission giver wants to meet me and the missions they are handing out are more substantial than the generic missions. Getting sent across the system to be Garbage Man was not what I was planning on doing. While trying to find another mission, I had my first and only game client crash of the night. When I recovered from the crash, I found myself respawned inside of Stanton, the star. I decided to hop over to Hurston to get the last few credits I needed to go on my shopping trip to outfit my 135C. After stopping over at Everest Harbor to set my spawn point, and have a bite to eat and a bottle of water, I noticed that my ship had despawned. After having this happen a few times now, I think that what is happening is that since I recovered from the crash in my ship, rather than having to wake up in a landing location and spawning the ship through a terminal, that the ship is getting cleaned up for some reason when I get far away from it. I know that the servers clean up abandoned weapons and ships when players get far away from them to keep the servers from being overly impacted by a bunch of garbage being all over the place. But I was using that ship, so what the heck, guys? Another oddity was that I needed to reclaim my ship rather than just retrieving it from the terminal. So after I waited my timer and got the ship respawned, I grabbed the investigation mission, which required me to go to a derelict ship and identify a crew that had died in the accident. Unfortunately, before I got to the location, I had a 30k disconnect error. When I recovered from this error, I woke up inside Everest Harbor, so I had to reclaim and respawn my ship again. I accepted 2 missions this time to recover items from a wrecked caterpillar on the surface of Magda. I was able to easily recover both the black box and the cargo container. I then headed off to the junkyard on Hurston to deliver the cargo container, and then went to Lorville itself to hand in the black box. Both missions were uneventful, but the beautiful wind effects on the storm on Magda and the lights of Lorville at night were very stunning. Having collected enough money, I began my shopping trip at the Hurston Dynamics showroom in the commercial district at Lorville. I picked up a laser scattergun, since the nimbleness of the 135C tends towards close quarters combat. I then continued to Hurston L4 to pick up the Sucker Punch L distortion cannon, as well as some Rattler 2 cluster missiles. While trying to find this weapon store, I took damage while running up some stairs, which was fixable with quick bedpan application. After acquiring my weapons, I spent a decent bit of time wandering about the station looking for the Platinum Base Store to buy some more components. After wasting a bunch of time doing this, I returned to my ship only to find it under the landing pad. My buddy Will Treaty had logged into my server and then proceeded to steal my ship, most of which was my fault for leaving the door open, giving him easy entry. While Will was a friend just playing a prank, it would have been easy for a malicious person to have actually stolen the ship, requiring me to reclaim the ship to continue on my journey. This is why it is important to always close your doors when at a busy landing location, or when you let the ship get far out of your sight. I then headed to Port Olisar, near Crusader, to buy the Atlas Quantum Drive and refuel for my final jump out to Microtech to buy the Palisade Shield Generator I wanted to round out the build. While exiting the Hyperloop tram at the Commons stop to make my purchase, my character decided to crumple on the train platform, requiring me to respawn at the Noob Diaries hab building. The next tram I took did not cause me to randomly die, and I was able to successfully make my purchase. To celebrate my new ship loadout, I headed to the nightclub in New Babbage to grab a nice midday beverage. I was eventually able to get the bartender's attention. After a very long wait, I was presented with my light beer, which behaved more like Jell-O than a drink. Oh well, I guess not quite everything is working as intended, which is to be expected during an alpha. Before we go to that outro, I just wanted to remind everyone that November 20th until December 2nd is the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo on Planet Microtech. This is the largest Star Citizen event of the year, where throughout the duration of the event, every flyable ship will be available to rent for free for 24 hours. Ship availability changes daily, with different ship manufacturers showing off their stuff each day. I will be streaming every day of this event, walking through the expo hall and giving my opinions of the ships being shown, both flyable and ones still in concept. I will also be helping new players learn the ropes, since this event is also a free fly. This means that it is a perfect chance to try Star Citizen without buying the game. All you need to do is sign up for an account with my link down below and download the game to play anytime during this free fly event, or any free fly event in the future. Keep your eyes open for that. Because of this event, there will be a slight interruption to this YouTube content, but you'll be welcome to join me 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific every day of the event over on my Twitch page. I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on making these about once a week, so hit the subscribe button here on YouTube to make sure you don't miss the next one. If you have any feedback or want to share your Star Citizen experience, please leave that below in the comments section. I also implore you to use your democratic powers bestowed upon you by YouTube and hit one of those thumb buttons. Oh, and check out the video description for links to my Discord and Twitch channels. I stream on Twitch almost every day. I always have Star Citizen on the schedule, but I'm also playing through the Halo games with friends who missed out on the Halo hype train back in the day, and I just started playing The Witcher 3 for the first time. As far as Discord goes, I tend to hang out there for a few hours after stream. Sometimes I even stream other games on Discord that I don't feel like putting the effort into streaming on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching through to the end. And remember, keep it weird, Weeb Squadron. Daz, signing off.